Hello, everybody. This is my review of Silas Marner by George Eliot. These are books that I read in 2024. I'm Peter the Book Lover, and let's get into this. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter the Book Lover. I review books. I also write poetry. I also share poetry. And I want to thank you for coming by. Welcome to the video. If you're one of the people that gave me likes in the past, I want to thank you. If you're one of the people that's going to give me likes in the future, I want to thank you for those as well. And if you're one of the people that don't want to give me a like, I want to thank you for being here, and I want to give you a like. Thank you for being here. And this is my review of Silas Marner by George Eliot. First of all, I want to point out this is a female, which when I first read a book by George Eliot, I was surprised. I read this a long time ago, and this is a very advanced book. This is not light reading because it's got a very, very advanced vocabulary. There's a lot of words in here that were new to me when I read this book. I read this quite a while ago, maybe 3 to 4 years ago. And see, wasn't a big reader. I've always read a lot of books, but lately I've been a big reader. This is way before I started this channel that I read this book. And I really didn't get into it, so I can't really remember too much about it. I remember a little bit about it. But I just finished this. This I finished March 6th this year, 2024. And this is a pretty interesting book. Now, I'm going to read the back, and then I'm going to give you a little bit more than what's on the back, and then I'm going to give you my opinion of this book. Okay, so in this heartwarming classic by George Eliot, a gentle linen weaver named Silas Marner is wrongly accused of a horrendous theft actually committed by his best friend. Exiling himself to the rustic village of Ravelot, he becomes a lonely recluse. Ultimately, Marner finds redemption and spiritual rebirth through his unselfish love for an abandoned child who mysteriously appears one day in his isolated cottage. Now, right before this little girl appears in his isolated cottage, he gets ripped off. He has a whole bunch of gold. And the reason why he has all this gold is because he gets betrayed by his best friend. And he also gets betrayed by a fiancée. So it's pretty bad. He gets betrayed, and then he goes into himself, and then he gets robbed. And when he gets robbed, one day he goes out into his area and he sees his gold, and he's like, wow, and he clears his eyes and there's a girl there, and it becomes Hezbollah. He names her Hezbollah because that's his mother's name, and he raises this girl, and it's kind of got a story. The way that I see this story is like the gold that's missing actually gets replaced with this Hezbollah, Hefi, he calls her, and it becomes more valuable. It's like the value of love is more valuable than the love of gold, and I like that message. That's the message that I got out of it that I really liked. This is a lot simpler than Middlemarch, so this was a lot more enjoyable to me, a lot more understandable. It was a little confusing in the bar room talk because the language is very dated, but I still was able to follow along. And when it got to the story of things that happened to him, it's pretty interesting. And the outcome of what happens to somebody could have been a little bit better, but still, justice gets served for the theft that happens. Not the first one, though. The first one, I don't think it ever gets resolved, which is a shame. But yes, this was Silas Marner, and that's my review. I do not give stars to books that I've read. I just recommend them or I don't recommend them. This I recommend. I wouldn't recommend Middlemarch unless you're an advanced reader. If you really love Pride and Prejudice, maybe then give it a shot. But if you tried reading Pride and Prejudice, I don't think, and you didn't like that or if you tried Shakespeare and you didn't like it, maybe you shouldn't try Middlemarch. But this is a lot more understandable. Yes, and I find this incredible that this was written by a woman, and I'm very proud of her of making it, and I'm proud of for all the ladies that have made this accomplishment. Back then there's a lot of women like Charlie Bronte that wrote Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is amazing. I love that. And also the other one, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I believe it's Emily. And the other one was Charlotte Bronte. But those two novels written by women are amazing. I'm thankful women were able to break through. It's a shame that they were held back for a while, but they broke through. And this is Silas Marner. Okay, let me get you into what is coming next. I am reading this Tesla, The Wizard of Electricity, written by David J. Kent. And this is pretty interesting so far. I'm really enjoying this. I like this a lot. It's a lot of fun. He's a very interesting guy. Nikolai Tesla. Really cool. Also, going back, I read this book in June 6th. No, I read this book in March 6th this year, and from February 12th to March 6th is when I read a whole bunch of Dr. Seuss. I read like 32 to 40. No, I think 44 Dr. Seuss. I read 44 Dr. Seuss books, and I'm going to do the top 10 Dr. Seuss books. And the top 10 is actually the 10 books that I would recommend by Dr. Seuss, because he's got 10 books that are really, really good. A lot of the other ones are actually recommended to your children. They're great to give to your children to read. But there's 10 of them that are great for adults too. I hope you look forward to reading that. I hope we could look forward to me making that video. And I want to thank everybody that came here and all the people that gave me a like, that's going to give me a like, that people that didn't give me a like. If you didn't give me a like, I'm going to give you a like. So, and if you liked my videos, please subscribe. I'd love that to happen. See you next time.